everybody, time again for another NoLifeTilMetal Records and Graphics update. This particular update is going to encompass a little bit of rocks records, a little bit of retroactive records, and also some stuff from NoLifeTilMetal Records, which I'm very excited about. Anyhow, I'm going to start off quickly with, I can't remember if I show these before, but I'm going to show them again quick if I hadn't. But this is the Rage Days Heathen's Rage book that was put together and written by myself and Christopher Bade, and that is available on the brand new, we just got a new white website up. If you go to NoLifeTilMetalRecords.com or RocksRecords.com, it's a brand new website, brand new web store. Things are, there's some bugs still we're working out, but things are much improved. There's no longer the store envy fees, and shipping costs have been fixed, so it's just a much better site. As well, the Heathen's Rage live at Swift Lake Park, which I know I showed at one point, CD, and this, which I just love this album. This is Veil of Deception, Dissident Voices, and this is available now as well on CD only. Also on my label, NoLifeTilMetal Records, this is the test pressing for the Helix Old School record. This one is now for sale and will be coming out in final. Well, the official street date is August 31st. But as usual, everything that we sell on our site, if you pre-order, you get it the moment it comes out. So we don't wait for the release date for the pre-orders. This is the insert. I obviously don't have the covers. This is just a test pressing. This sounds fantastic. This is all new recordings of songs that have never been recorded before. So the story basically goes that Brian Vollmer is moving, and he was cleaning out his house, what she called Planet Helix, and if you ever seen pictures of his house or been to his house, you know why he calls it that. But he was cleaning out and he found these old, tapes, real tapes from the 80s, ADAT tapes, cassette tapes and whatnot. So he was going to throw them away, and just because they just thought they were old junk. But a friend of his, who was also a musician, I believe it was Mr. Gatto, convinced him that he should check and see what's on him first, because you never know. Well, sure enough, he did. He had to bake the tapes, and he checked, and it was all these recordings they had done with Paul Hackman. Paul, who had died a few decades ago now, and there were songs that the band had written for a Helix record, but never were recorded for the Helix record. They just never got recorded. They got forgotten about, and so this album is full of those songs. In fact, they were able to salvage some of Paul's guitar parts when they recorded all these songs. They recorded them all new, but they were able to use some of his actual guitar solos and guitar parts in the songs. So I believe there's 3 songs that feature his tracks on them. And if I'm not mistaken, in the liner notes written by Dennis. Who's Dennis? Written by Brian Vollmer. He actually talks about which songs were which, and so 7 of the 10 tracks were either written or co-written by Paul Hackman, and 3 of the tracks feature some of his guitar work. So it's a new album of old songs, therefore the album is called Old School, and this is the only vinyl release that's going to be released of this, and there is only 150 copies available in the US, 50 tan, 100 black, and then there will also be copies available if you see Helix on tour up in Canada. They're going to be taking another 150 with them. So yeah, it's going to sell out rather quickly, which is good and bad. I mean, it's a little pressing, but it's still cool that I was able to release this record. As you all know, I'm a huge Helix fan, so very excited about that. Also on NoLifeTilMetal Records, I've been talking about this one for a long time. This is Mass. This is their 1982 album Fighter. It was recorded for an A&M Records with Tom Allman from who was, he's a famous producer. He had produced for Black Sabbath on their first 3 albums. He was actually an engineer on those albums. He produced most of Judas Priest's albums from like '79 all the way through the late '80s, and he did Def Leppard's On Through the Night. So yeah, he was a very well-known producer in the '80s. 1982, they recorded this album with Tom Allman. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, Mass's record label, A&M, and Mass's management were butting heads, not getting along, and it came down to the record label said, either get rid of your management or we're not putting out the album. Well, the band was in litigation, fighting with the management to get rid of them for, I believe, 2 years, and in that time, A&M shelved the record. So it never was actually released. 2010 comes around, the album is finally released it's released on CD through Retroactive Records. Come now, the album is being released on vinyl for the first time. So it was recorded analog. It belongs to be on analog. As well, we're releasing the CD. The CD has the original tracks that are on the record, all taken from the original master, reels, and then it has 7 or 8, I can't remember now, 7 or 8 tracks also from the master reels of alternative mixes of the same songs, plus a song that was never released. One of the songs never got put on here, so that's going to be on there as well. There's a live version of Holy One where they kind of, in the beginning, they have a little crowd banter, and they talk about this A&M record just shortly, so it's a very cool release. So it's going to be available on CD and vinyl. Next up, this is Rox Records. This is the Red Sea album. Love this album. Brand new cover art that I had done. I've worked on this with a couple of the band members, and I just love the way it finally came out. Again, this is the test pressing. I think it has the insert for whatever reason. I didn't put it in the back like I usually do. Yeah, it does. So there's the insert. So this one has been talked about online for quite a while. It's finally coming to light. Test pressing is approved. It's coming out on CD and vinyl. I don't believe there's any extra tracks on it. It's just the original album, which is ridiculously hard to find. But it's somewhat of a super group. I mean, none of these guys are in like huge bands, but the rhythm section came from Badlands. So you've got Greg Chason on bass, who is just a monster bassist. He also played in Die Happy. And speaking of Die Happy, the vocalist for Die Happy, Robin Kyle Bissari, is the singer here. And then you've got Jeff Martin, who was the drummer for Badlands on their second and third album. And then on guitar, you got Chris Howe Sorensen, who plays currently in Fear Not, and he had also played in, what else did he play with? Fear Not, missing one. Really? Oh, yeah. Chris Sorensen, Chris Howe, as he was known here. So, vinyl CD, excited about it. Going to be on red or black vinyl. I believe it's a 500 pressing, and it'll probably be, I think it's going to be 300 red and 200 black. So, very cool. If you like, that Badlands style with those soaring vocals and that kind of heavy blues-based guitar sound and guitar, it's just a fantastic album. I love this album as much as I like, if not better. It might even be a little heavier than the two Badlands album with Jakey Lee, but that's kind of the sound that you're going to get from this. So, and then coming out on Retroactive Records, this is I should say the first, but this is the most famous demo from Deliverance called Greeting of Death. Not Greetings, Greeting of Death. And the reason I make that comment is because I've been getting lots of comments on the cover saying that I spelled it wrong. As you can see, it says Greeting of Death. Same thing on the back. As well as a cassette tape, which is also, this is brand new, this one's still sealed. But Greeting of Death, this is an exact scan of the original cassette tape, which was called Greeting of Death. The song is called Greetings of Death. Whatever, that's just what it is. I know that for a fact because it was scanned from the original. So the cassette is made to look like the original spine, the original front cover. The back's a little different because we had to add a barcode and the retroactive logo, but black tape, white prints. It's just got the original songs, so A and B side with 3 songs on each side, including the comical Speckled Bird song. This album was recorded in an old country music place, a studio, and so that when the thrash band went in there in the 88 or whatever it was 87, 87 to record this, it was a bit of a culture shock for them. So they did this song called Speckled Bird, which is kind of a country flair. It's kind of funny. It's a short song on here. The CD actually has 2 bonus tracks, also from the same time period. A Space Called You an Attack, which showed up on the California Metal compilation back in the day, and it's also being released on black vinyl. What's cool about these is we kind of try to keep it true to the feel and look of an old demo, so you kind of get that look here. And it's on an uncoated stock, which I specifically requested. Tons of period accurate photos, of those early years of Deliverance. There's the actual demo scanned in and the actual lyrics scanned in. More photos, collages. Liner notes by Jimmy Brown. So I'm excited about this release. I love this demo, always have. Some people, I remember when the first album came out back in 88, 89, people complained because they said that it didn't have the same grit and rawness of this demo. Some people like the demo better. You know, whatever. I like the album a little better. It's better recorded for sure. But I love this demo as well. I think almost all the regular songs, see Victory, Greetings of Death, Victory, No Time, JIG, were all recorded on the first album. Greetings of Death made it onto Weapons of Our Warfare, and I think Awake finally got recorded on their third album, What a Joke, if I'm not mistaken. That's all from memory, so it could be off a little bit. Also on Retroactive Records, this is White Ray. Formerly, they became known as Killed by Kane in the 90s when they signed with REX, but this is all their demos from the 80s, all of them. So this is 2 CDs. You've got 88, 89, 90, and 91 demos on here, and tons of photos, a full interview with the band. This is a little different from what Killed by Kane was. It's more old school heavy metal. It's very heavy, pushes towards a little bit towards speed metal here and there, but it's just old school heavy metal if you ask me. Center spread of the band. I'm getting some glare, sorry. There's band photos, there's old reviews in here. More photos, more liner notes. Yeah, this is a fun release to work on, and I've listened to this one several times over the past few days. Great stuff. I mean, I knew who Killed by Kane was, and I had that album since I bought it new in the 90s, but I never really had any of these White Ray demos, so I like White Ray way better than Killed by Kane, and I do like Killed by Kane, so that's saying quite a bit. This also came out, and this is kind of a double self-promotion thing, but I did do the artwork on this, and I did work on the layout for this one. This is the 10th anniversary re-release of Ultimatum's Lex Metalis, which was an all-cover CD we did. It's got a 16-page booklet. It's got new liner notes from Robert Gutierrez. It's got song-by-song liner notes from everybody in the band. It has the thrash metal collage of live stuff. It's got alternate photos from the photo session for the cover, which that's actually me in the photograph. And Christian Thompson Photography did the photography work for us. Lots of liner notes, more liner notes, more collage stuff, and finally a collage of flyers and memorabilia. There you go. Remastered, sounds great, has 2 bonus tracks. It has Burn, which was on our 3rd album, a Vengeance Rising cover, and it's got Sins of Omission, which is a Testament cover, which we did for a compilation CD, a tribute CD called Jump in the Pit on Dwell Records back in, I don't know, I think it was the year 2000, 2001. So there you go. That's my NoLifeTilMetal updates, all that stuff, and that's a lot more coming out. It's been busy, and I'm loving every minute of it. So that's it. I appreciate y'all watching. Really appreciate your support. I know many people have bought things that they may not even have known just because they're supporting my label and my work, and I really appreciate it, man. My heart goes out to you because without you guys buying this stuff, we can't continue to put it out. So appreciate it. That's it. God bless. Stay strong.